Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Imavov. This episode is a day late because I was busy. And let's just get to the card. The overall theme of this fight night is this was a sneaky good, fight night. It's just another reminder that we shouldn't be in the apex, and for some weird reason, we're still stuck in the apex. And the reason why I say that isn't because of aesthetic reasons, even though, it's better to put this in front of a crowd, but it just reminded me of, throughout watching this fight night, I just kept reminiscing about, because maybe it was due to the promos of the upcoming fight night, Hermansson versus Pyfer. In my head, I was just reminiscing of 2018, when Hermansson had his little mini run when he was fighting people internationally, right? These Apex cards would have been international cards in 2018. I was reminiscing about Hermansson's little mini run before he got stopped by or before he lost. I don't remember if he got finished. Before he lost to Cannonier. I remember Blachowicz' run, which was basically him traveling the entire world, fighting, them giving him everybody, and then him finally putting his name on the map by knocking out Rockhold. It just reminded me of that time, because if you put this in front of a crowd, if you put this in like Spain or where do they usually go? Sweden, right? Or if one of the European countries, if you put those there, this is a way cooler fight night. And because it's in the Apex, there's a sort of feel that I don't like about it anymore. At first, it was cool from a novelty standpoint, right? You can hear the punches and you can hear the kicks. And, that shit's gay now. I don't care. This isn't COVID where we're locked in our house and anything amazes us, right? It's like, oh, these guys are warriors. They're fighting in a basement. Now it's actually like, now it's kind of concerning to the point where I feel like the media members aren't doing their job in hounding him being Dana or the UFC, as to why these aren't in any other. If Bellator can put on fucking pay-per-views in Ireland, granted, I understand they have a base in certain places in Europe. How is the UFC not going international? I'm tired of seeing this. This was a really nice fight card. Sneaky good fight card, because just looking at this on paper, it's chocked full with filler. These fighters are, the majority of them, minus a couple of them, this is a filler card, and it turned out to be a really nice filler card. Let's get down to some of the niggles on this card. Let's start with the first fight of the night: Peterson versus Pogues. Pogues? I'm going to say Pogues. There we go. Peterson versus Pogues. Let's start off with the fact that this is an injustice. It's a robbery. I don't care about the nut shot. I don't care about when we see this fight, okay? When we see this fight, Peterson was robbed. Let's start off with the first round, okay? Pogues is outstriking Peterson on the feet by about 9 to 10 strikes. Peterson gets a takedown in the closing 30 seconds of the round, gets a takedown and gets some ground and pound. It's kind of close because the ground and pound kind of catches up with the strikes that were landed on him on the feet, but it's the last 30 seconds of the round. And this is a theme that's going to come up later. Okay, this is a weird theme that's going to come up later of inconsistent judging. Super inconsistent judging. The last 30 seconds of this round, okay, do not win Peterson. Peterson doesn't win the round based off of the last 30 seconds of this round. But you can make an argument for it because of the amount of strikes that Pogues landed on the feet. This is a little different from what I'm going to reference later. But Pogues wins this first round. Go to the second round. Peterson outstrikes Pogues. Now, from the second round to the third round on, it's another optics fight where Peterson is hounding and he's really trying to get a takedown throughout round 2 and 3. because he got it in the first, and now he's basically unable to get it in the second and the third. And what's really interesting is that the optics of him trying to get a takedown. Now, I've seen many fights from like this, where the optics of trying to get a takedown, coupled with not landing strikes, loses you the round. Here's the problem. The optics work against him in the last two rounds, I think, because in round 2, he outstrikes Pogues. Now, it's a little different than 3 because in round 2, the shots are a little more, there's a lot more strikes that he lands in space. I think that's a better way of saying it. There's a lot more strikes he lands in space that kind of optically give him the illusion that he won the round. But the thing about round 2 and 3 that are similar is when he's trying to get the takedown, he doesn't get it, and he gets back into space, and he continues to outstrike Pogues. Now, I'm not going to talk about the commentary. I feel like I talk about them too much. The commentary obviously doesn't agree with what I'm saying here, but Peterson is outstriking Pogues in round 2 and 3, in conjunction with failing to get takedowns, getting off of Pogues, and then continuing to outstrike Pogues. And the optics of just both fighters missing a bunch of their shots and then Peterson occasionally landing on Pogues doesn't help at all. If you rewind this back and watch round 2 and 3, Peterson outstrikes Pogues, and then in the third round he does the same thing. This is 29-28 for Peterson, the last 2 rounds for Peterson. And you go to the judges' scorecards, and they just have a different idea. Okay, so Mike Bell, he gives the first 2 rounds to Pogues. He gives the last round to Peterson. Okay, so he kind of saw what I saw at the end there, but he gives the total fight to Pogues. Chris Lee gives a 30-27 to Pogues. This is insane. Honorable mention to, first of all 3. I don't fucking care. And then the same thing with Anthony Manis. His scorecard reflects Mike Bell. It's just, the first fight of the night just already put a sour taste in my mouth. Okay, a real sour taste of just a robbery, and someone's going to probably say, oh, it's a close fight or whatever. It's not close in the sense that, sure, you can give the first round to Pogues, but in the last 2 rounds, Peterson was able to successfully outstrike Pogues, and he still lost because the optics of him failing to get takedowns, and when they would break, Pogues would land a shot, but in total of each of the last 2 rounds, he would get outstruck. It's just insane. It's real nonsense. We go to the next. We go to the next thing on the card, and that's an honorable mention. Okay, it's an honorable mention. It's Moicano versus Dober. Okay, now they got the decision right on this one, but this fight was weird because mid-fight, I was screaming at my. There's so many things crazy with this fight. So I guess I'll bring up the commentary because that's why I'm mad for a second. But we'll go through this. First round. Okay, first round. I'm speeding through this. I'm sorry. There's not much to talk about in this card, so hang with me here. Moicano versus Dober. 30-27 to Moicano. Okay, I heard 29-28. And I almost punched my computer screen. In no way is this a 29-28. In no way is this a 29-28. We go to the first round. Moicano had a takedown with ground and pound for about 2+ minutes. In the first, I want to say 2.5 minutes on the feet. They're kind of relatively even or so. I think Moicano's outstriking Dober by a little bit, but Moicano gets a takedown because Dober's kind of catching him a little bit. He gets a takedown with ground and pound for 2+ minutes. It's Moicano's run. Second round, here's the one that pisses me off. Second round, Moicano gets 2 takedowns, 2 back-to-back takedowns with ground and pound. He's on top of Dober for 4 minutes. For 4 minutes. 3+ minutes. Dober gets a takedown, lands 4 decent ground and pound strikes. Now, I do want to couple this by saying Moicano, his ground and pound wasn't heavy, but it was continuous, And it was enough to where whatever Dober landed in this last 30-second range does not win him the round. Dober gets a takedown at the end of the round, lands 4 shots of ground and pound, and then there's 2 big swings where the crowd goes crazy and the commentary goes wild, and both of them missed. One of them missed and whiffed. The other one hit the canvas. And I'm sitting there going, both of the shots did not land. And Dober was on the ground for literally the entire round. There is no way in hell they give him this round. And what do? They give him the round, because what other round are you going to give him? Okay, you go to the third round. Moicano gets a takedown, and he's pretty much on top of him for the entire round with ground and pound for 3+ minutes. This round is coupled with Mark Smith praying for Moicano to strike, and I was just thankful that DC kind of noticed that Mark Smith was, I don't know what his deal was. He was praying. He was praying for Moicano to just stop hitting one punch. That way he could stand them up. The quickness in which he was telling Moicano to be busy down there was insane. I mean, as soon as he got the takedown in the third round, he was like, stay busy. Now, Moicano was out of breath for sure. But that quick? Insane. Absolutely insane. We go to the judges' scorecards. And it just pisses me off. All 3 judges' scorecards: Mike Bell, Junior Chiricamijo, Chris Lee, honorable mention all 3. They give the second round to Drew Dober. It's just nonsense. The last 30 seconds wins him the round. It's insane. It's insane. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm confused as to why the 3 judges on the first card didn't give the round to Peterson. I don't understand why they didn't give him the first round, when he did pretty much the exact same thing. Not the exact same thing, but in the sense that he's getting outstruck on the feet, and then the last 30 seconds he gets a takedown, lands a lot more ground and pound than Dober did, and doesn't get the round. They were like, oh yeah, this is the last 30 seconds. He's not getting the round. Dober lands much less ground and pound, and they go, yep, this is his round. Just ridiculous stuff. Ridiculous stuff. Okay, last honorable mention. It's Dolidze versus Imavov. This fight was, this fight, before even watching it, I knew was going to be boring. And then we watched it, and it was still kind of, minus pockets of the fight, obviously. But it had some narratives attached to it that I really want to talk about. So let's go with the scorecards first. Dolidze versus Imavov. I had my scorecard 48-46 for Imavov. Okay, gave the first round to Imavov, second round to Dolidze, third round to Imavov, fourth round to Imavov minus the point deduction, so that's 9-9 in the fourth round, and then the fifth round to Imavov as well, 48-46. In the first round, Imavov outstruck, dropped, and he had ground and pound against Dolidze. Second round, it's kind of close on strikes with the edge to Dolidze. Dolidze pretty much just had Imavov in the clinch and was just landing very little clinch strikes, but there wasn't enough on the feet. In fact, they were both kind of landing on the feet. And then Dolidze would bring him to the fence and just clinch him up there. That round, objectively speaking, 100% belongs to Dolidze. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the round where I just visually saw pretty much Imavov is running out of cardio. I can't say Dolidze is running out of cardio because he just got beat up badly in the first round. Also, another thing, a 10-8 in the first round. Too soon. It's too soon for a it's just insane. We get it. He dropped him. He was outstriking him a little bit on the feet, and then there was a lot of ground and pound. I just don't think you throw a 10-8 in there already. That's just my opinion. I don't. We're killing the card already. But okay, some people apparently had a 10-8. I didn't have a 10-8. 10-9 in the first round. All right, second round, just like I said, Dolidze wins just based off of clinching, and you can visually see that Imavov is like kind of has no cardio, and they go to the corner during the break. They go to the corner, and his coaches, via the translation, are basically saying, "Hey, you shouldn't be gassing out right now. You shouldn't be tired. You've worked harder than him." Imavov looks gassed. There's moments in this fight where they both... I'm not going to say anything about Dolidze. Imavov is gassed. Ridiculously gassed. Now, the last time I saw him gassed was the Strickland fight. But that was based off of Strickland punching his face. Not Dolidze huddling. I mean, just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff going on here. We go to the third round. Imavov just outstrikes Dolidze, right? There's pockets of this that are in the clinch, but Imavov is able to, like, get out of the clinch. Dolidze isn't effective at all in these clinch positions, and every time Imavov gets out of these clinch positions, he's able to outstrike Dolidze pretty clean. Fourth round, it's close on strikes with the edge to Imavov. He just outstruck him in a much better way in this fourth round. Dolidze had a takedown, but Imavov got up pretty quickly. The takedown's kind of irrelevant here. And so I give that round to Imavov. There's an illegal knee. It's kind of like the Petr Yan illegal knee, where he's kind of like looking at him. He's looking at him. And I guess he just doesn't fully see his hand. And so he just hits him. He knees him, or he kicks him straight in the face. And this is the part of the fight that I want. This is the interesting part of the fight. Okay. Herb Dean moves Imavov to his corner. But before he moves him to his corner, Imavov is chirping at Chris Curtis. Now, I don't know if you understand this, but over the course of 3 fights now, I have slowly begun to hate Chris Curtis. And it's not because of his fighting style. It's more or less because of... It's more or less because of how he conducts himself because of his fighting style. I'll explain. So, Chris Curtis had a fight against Hermansson, coincidentally enough. Had a fight against Hermansson, where Hermansson basically did like a ring around the rosy point fighty style. Right, where he basically went in, went out, went in, went out, went in, went out, and popped Chris Curtis, and just kept doing that for 3 rounds straight, and it basically infuriated Chris Curtis because Chris Curtis was able to get off no offense and was unable to counterstrike effectively. And Curtis threw a big hissy fit and whined and was like, "Why won't you fight me? Why won't you come forward?" And he looked like a baby. And so everyone was like, "You're a baby. Stop whining and just fight to the style." Everyone has to do this, okay? This is the trade of the game, is we can't all fight dudes who come forward. Okay? So he did the same thing in the fucking Burial fight where the... I don't know if I explained... I talked about it, but Burial fought him the way Hermansson fought him, and then later kind of went into his style once things got a little more... Once the energy got a little low, he was confident into going into his cardio-based style that the commentary references to. But the thing that really caught my attention was he was fighting in that Hermansson style of that kind of infuriates Chris Curtis, which is basically, I'm not going to be in front of you and let you fucking hit me. Like, it's insane how the commentary didn't catch on to that. They just stuck to the goofy script they were given of Marc-Andre Barrios is a power bar and blah, 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 blah. It's like, guys, we can switch styles once in a while. They don't have to fight the same way. Like, we praise fighters for coming out and doing something different. But that's beyond the point. The point is Marc-Andre Barrios fought conservatively. He fought smart and strategically in a fight that I think, honestly, that he should have won. It's a close fight, but I think he should have won. But either way, he goes in, he fights conservatively, and even in the middle of this fight, back to the Hermansson fight, middle of the Hermansson fight, Chris Curtis is whining. He's whining to Hermansson to fight him, to come forward, which is stupid. And Hermansson's just like, bro, you're dumb. No, I'm going to stay here and just potshot you. Cool. Barrios does the same thing, except Curtis is a little more... I guess you could say he's a little better with his strike choicing. I can't even talk right now. He's a lot better with his strikes in the Barrios fight, which makes that fight much closer. And he kind of does the same thing to Burial, where he kind of puts his hands up like, yo, are you going to fight me? It's a real annoying thing that you can interpret in two ways. He's annoyed or he's trying to psych out the fighter. I fall on the side of he's fucking annoyed and he's a baby. So there's that. I guess we'll go middle of those two fights where he fights Imavov. Okay. He fights Imavov. It's an accidental foul that hits him. And he complains and he whines. And Imavov's probably like, what the fuck, dude? Like, everyone gets hit like this. It wasn't that bad of a head, but your head's in the fucking way. Calm down, stop being a baby. Chris Curtis is fucking sad, mad during this fight against Imavov versus Dolidze. Starts chirping at Imavov, and Imavov's like, what? What's like, bro? Come in here, bro, and I'll piece you up. And to Imavov's credit, he was piecing up Curtis up until the stoppage. And that's what makes this so fucking interesting is that fight. I wish that fight got to finish so we could kind of know who's better. It's just funny how, Curtis is in the corner of Dolidze, given that it should be really Strickland to be in the corner, because Strickland's the only one who actually, effectively beat Imavov out of the two. Right? Curtis didn't get anything off memorable against Imavov. I say that all to say that was the real shining part of this fight, because it's weird bad blood you don't get too often of a guy who, was on his way to losing up until the foul, chirping mid-fight at the guy he's in there, and it's a different type of foul, which is what has me mad about, which is what, again, has me more pissed at Chris Curtis as to, hey, Chris, it's an accidental weird headbutt that landed on your chin or whatever, calm down. It's not the same as him not seeing Dolidze and him kicking him in the head. It's craziness. Super, super craziness. And now we go to round 5, where Imavov outstrikes Dolidze. This round was sporadic. It's basically Dolidze trying to get a takedown by any means. He's not getting a traditional takedown. Two fighters on this card who just couldn't get, who didn't even try to get legit takedowns. Dolidze and Stoliarenko. Let's try and get takedowns the untraditional way, which is body locks or in Dolidze's case, let me pull, kind of pull guard, kind of. It wasn't even pulling guard. He just grabbed the leg and brought Dolidze down. That was one way he did it. I think another way he did it was he was in the clinch at one point and he kind of just pushed him down. I can't remember too far back into it, but one of them was he just grabbed his leg and went down. In this 5th round, Dolidze just kept going. He just kept trying to get a takedown, but nope. He just couldn't get a takedown in this round, and each time they got back up, Imavov made him pay. He had the much more heavier shots. You don't normally hear me say that. I don't really like saying shit like that, but his shots had a massive effect on Dolidze, and he outstruck Dolidze in this 5th round pretty clear. But another noticeable thing in this 5th round is no cardio. Imavov was running out of cardio. Granted, it's the 5th round, but this is his, second 5th round fight? Maybe third? I want to say second. I think second. Yeah, he ran out of cardio midway through. There was a part where there's many pockets in this fight where he could have finished him, and I'm not talking about the first round, where he landed a strike that stunned Dolidze, and whether he just wasn't paying attention or he was just being really conservative, he would hit hit Dolidze with something, and Dolidze would be still for a good 3 seconds, and he just wouldn't recognize it. He just wouldn't recognize it. There's some shot where I don't know if it's in the 5th round or in the 4th round, can't remember again, but he hits him with an elbow to the side of the head while Dolidze's in the clinch, and Dolidze drops, and he just doesn't catch on to what's going on. But yeah, it was overall, that's pretty much it. I'll go to the judges' scorecards because these scorecards are all over the fucking place. They're really all over the place. It's kind of insane. So we're going to start off with Derek Cleary. Okay, he has a 49-44. This already sounds ridiculous. It's inflated. It's absolutely inflated. And I just want to notice that everyone's giving it a 10-8. Only one judge gave a 10-8. Now, if all three judges gave it 10-8, I'd still say they were all wrong. That's just me. But Derek Cleary gives the first round a 10-8. Nonsense. I saw it the moment it happened. I was in my head. I was like, this isn't a 10-8. It's not a 10-8. You guys it's too quick. It's the first round. Unless it's a definitive 10-8, we don't need, this is a first round of a main event. We can't corrupt the scorecard so quickly. 10-8 to Imavov in the first. Nonsense. Already honorable mention. This card is already ruined. This scorecard is disgusting. He gives the second round to Imavov. This is nonsense. This is bad scoring. Okay. They're both striking each other pretty equally on the feet. And then in the clinch positions, Dolidze is able to effectively hold Imavov in the clinch and land some pitter-patter clinch strikes here and there. That round belongs to Dolidze. This card is stupid. It's already disgusting. Third round he gives to Imavov. That's fine. Fourth round he gives to Imavov. It's kind of close, but he still gives it to Imavov. That's fine. Minus the point deduction, it's a 9-9 in the last round to Imavov. That's where you get the 49-46. You go to the next judge's scorecard. 48-46. His scorecard reflects Saul Diamato's scorecard reflects mine clearly. The exact same way. 10-9 in the first to Imavov, 10-9 in the second for Dolidze, a 10-9 in the third for Imavov, and then a 10-9 minus the point deduction, so it's a 9-9 in the fourth round, and then 10-9 for Imavov in the fifth round. 48-46. And then you have Ron McCarthy, who I will say this. His scorecard is kind of correct. So 47-47, he had a draw. This is a majority decision, by the way. It's a draw, and it's a goofy draw, just based off the point, though. So first round's correct, 10-9 Imavov. Second round is correct, 10-9 Dolidze. Third round again, Imavov. And then, like I said before, the fourth round is kind of eerily close. It's really wonky. You can really argue it to either person, and he gave it to Dolidze. That's fine. Minus the point deduction makes it a 10-8. Crazy. And then the last round gives to Imavov. That's a 47-47. This scorecard's correct. Now, thank God in heaven this did not end in a draw, because we'd be talking about, not a robbery, but we'd be talking about a fight that rightfully should have gone to Imavov, but Ron McCarthy gives it a 47-47. So that's all you got there. And that's pretty much it. Interesting fight card. Thankful I don't have to watch it again. It was nice. I wish there was a crowd. It was sneaky, kind of cool, But then the last fight, I don't want to say it was bad, but it just, it just tampered stuff down. I'll be back next week for Hermansson versus Pyfer, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.